I meet a lot of women, and they always talk about how they want a street dude, a hood dude. But if you notice, it never works out long term. So you got to be careful when you take advice from women about what they want, because that's rarely what they ever have. So you more so got to go based off of what they do more so than what they say, because what they claim they want is the number one thing they complain about later. So let's just take a listen.
Try to some hood dude.
There you go.
And on them, that feeling of like, all right, yeah, he was toxic, but it was like the protection. Like, like some guys that didn't have like the good, relationship with their parents or anything like that, they've been through a lot of shit basically. So they ain't shit basically, but they so big on like protecting for some reason. And that was like one of the biggest turn ons for me. Cause I like a guy that protects me,
The hood.
Now, see, she doesn't understand. We're not. It's not that hood guys are necessarily protective. It's just that when you're in the streets talk, and you can easily get embarrassed by the woman you're dealing with. So what by her being protective means that he's also sheltering her. He's trying to keep her away from other men that we might be in competition with, or keep her in a position where she can't do anything to embarrass us, because your whole reputation is based on the streets. So anything she does in the streets can look bad on you. How she dresses, where she goes, if she hangs out with another guy who is someone you're an enemy with or you don't get along with, that can be used against you later. People will literally throw the things your woman does in your face. So street dudes are very strict, very big on being embarrassed and protecting their reputation. So she's taking this the wrong way. And then again, also when he doesn't want you to go out and he doesn't want you to dress a certain way, these women, they fight back. They don't like that. They don't want to be controlled. But here they are petitioning and talking about how they're attracted to that control. It's the most confusing and nonsensical BS ever. And then these women have the nerves to want to get pregnant by these men who are in the streets, and are expecting men who are not in the streets to magically come along and save them and raise their illegitimate children.
The dude was big on protecting.
yeah.
Oh.
But what made you feel like he could protect you? Other dudes were scared of him.
Because of like the person I am. I'm a loving person, I'm a caring person, everything like that. And he was just all about like keeping me safe type, like nobody was with me. Like he would just
Basically, he kept her away from everybody because he knew she was a flirt. He probably heard she was a freak, but because she's cute and she had a car he could drive, maybe she had her own apartment he could crash at, he had to lock her down. The next step is just to get her pregnant so you can always have a beachhead that you can come back to in the future because she has your kid. Historically, that's how it went for a long time with hood dudes and women like this. And once he goes to jail for good and he's not coming back for 10 years or more, which is extremely common, then she's going to try to find another man to step in to be with her and her kid. But that's not going to happen because it's hard to sell a good man on the fact that you're a good woman, but in your past, you were attracted to street people. Street people and street culture is at the bottom of the barrel of society. It's glamorized, it's publicized, and it seems really cool. It seems fun, but it's basically perpetual struggle mode where you're always trying to figure out how to get ahead, how to get by. There's no stability, there's no consistency. And these women decide those are the ideal environments to bring in new life, which is totally unrespectable if you're a man who's been building yourself up. Yeah, you might meet her and she's pretty, but looks aren't everything. Being shallow can cost you more than you can afford. And looking at a pretty picture with a bunch of baggage and liabilities is just a problem. Also, stepkids ain't shit. They hate their stepdads. They resent the men that are there for them because their real father is nowhere to be found. And, we all know what it's like to we've seen stepdads in the past. It's probably the worst decision a man could make. And now they've gone extinct. Actually, right now, on this very day, I can say I don't know one stepdad. The last friend of mine I had that was a stepdad. Well, I had one that went through a divorce recently, but besides him was my cousin. We used to call him stepdad of the year. And that was 4 years ago. That's been over. I don't know any other stepdads, and I know everybody, plenty of people. Every woman I know with kids is single, and every guy I know that has a girlfriend, she doesn't have kids, or he's not, or it's his children only. So that's what comes from this street lifestyle. So to see somebody still saying how they're attracted to it, it just shows you the mental disconnect from reality that unfortunately too many women suffer from. And they go on these panels, they go on these, I used to do an event called Meeting Minds. And there would be women that would come to my events and they're like, I wish I would have known this up front, but you wouldn't have changed anything because you like who you like. And women like what they're not supposed to have. They're just like bad children. Soon as your parents tell you not to do something, that's the first thing you want to do. So when there's a toxic guy that everyone's saying to not mess with and to leave alone, that just makes you want him more. I remember the last chick I was seeing, beautiful as hell, but I was also dating her cousin. I was messing with her cousin for the past for years. And her cousin brings her over my house. They're in my neighborhood. I'm at a day party. They come over, they're drinking and partying. She introduces me to her friend. The cousin that I've been dealing with is married. And so I haven't been messing with her, but we still friends. And anyway, while the cousin is arguing with her husband on the phone downstairs, me and her cousin who I just met are upstairs having drinks, talking, getting to know each other, flirting. Anyway, she comes back upstairs and she makes it a big deal to, in a roundabout way, let her know that me and her have been more than just friends. And she was like, yeah, this is Rico. And you know what? At one time, I thought my daughter was his daughter. And I was like, why would you say that? Your cousin is beautiful. Now she might think that I'm disqualified or I'm off limits. And me and you aren't even messing around anymore. Why would you tell her that? But in her opinion, I'm toxic. They like toxicity. It's crazy. And anyway, when she stepped away again to go argue some more, she looked at me and she said, you know what? I don't know if my cousin is hating on you or if she's cock blocking me. But either way, I'm not having it. Give me your number. Only because, and no, the thing is, none of these people watch my content. So I can talk about, I got hella stories. And all because I'm toxic. She knows I used to mess with her cousin. I'm basically forbidden fruit. But women don't like being denied anything. They don't want to hear the word no. You cannot tell her no. Whatever you say no, she's going to do. So just like that situation with me, it's just like it played out with these other women with other hood dudes. As soon as people tell her, don't mess with him, he has 5 baby mothers, he's this, he's that. Now she's like, well, shit, that's a challenge. I don't like anybody telling me what to do. Women don't like things that come too easy. And I've noticed that women are like, yeah, these guys are too easy. They still deal with the guys, but they're like, you're too easy. But, what is easy as a guy? Everything comes so hard to us. If something just falls in our lap, we're going to take it. She just fell in our lap. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even think to this day she's ever told her cousin. And me and her started we were in a relationship starting on that same day. She came back that night after they left and it was up from there. Toxic as hell, bro. And I don't even claim to be toxic. You know what makes me not toxic? I don't think I'm toxic because I don't argue. I don't cuss you out. I don't check people and tell them you're going to do this. You're going to do. I don't care. If anybody will call me toxic, it's because I'm so nonchalant. Nothing really bothers me because I assume the worst about everybody anyway. I don't trust any women. I don't trust men. I don't trust nobody. In my opinion, everybody is guilty until proven innocent. So I don't think that's toxic, but other people do. So, and then also, my lifestyle, I'm honest. I post a lot of my day-to-day antics or whatever. So people think that's toxic because I'm just not in a serious relationship and I don't make up a bunch of lies and woo people and just say what they want to hear so they'll like me. And yeah, because I just don't care. They think that's toxic. They think that it would be healthier if I was very attentive and very soft and very sweet. And that's how your wife ends up at my house getting cracked while you're arguing with her on the phone. So yeah, don't listen to women. Listen to Rico. If you're gonna listen to anybody, a lot of you are hard-headed, men and women. If you're gonna listen to somebody, I would suggest you listen to me. But who am I to give you advice? I'm just a guy on the internet, right?
They're going like protecting me and his relationship and everything like that, and I respected that.
But you didn't think you could get that from a regular dude, or
I could have, but for some reason, because it was.
Come on, baby, you're cute, but you're a hood chick. A regular dude's mother and family would literally not let you in the front door. There's been women I've met that were, yes, they were super ghetto. I'm talking about neck tats and, felonies and dangerous looking women. Literally can't speak a lick of regular English. I would, even when we're sitting together, I try to text them because their ghetto accents so strong. I can't make out 2 or 3 words of it. But they'd be like, "Oh, let me go." I mean, I would read the text. I couldn't understand her. "Let me go with you to your family's house for the holidays, to go visit and meet your people." Abso-fucking-lutely not. These women think they have more options than they do. They're choosing to deal with street dudes because those are the only dudes that are willing to deal with them. A regular square guy is not showing up to his house with the chick with multicolored braids, the ghetto heels, the ripped jeans, looking like she was in Salt and Pepper 30 years ago. They're not, no, you can't even get in the front door because your woman's a reflection of you. And in front of your family is probably going to be one of the most embarrassing times that you can have. Because obviously all of our families are super judgmental. I know mine's is. So you have to pre-screen anybody you bring around your people. She thinks she could have pulled a regular guy. How? You have the same braids as the girl that pulled up to meet Craig on Friday, that pulled up to meet Smokey on Friday. Nobody's going to look at you and be like, "That's my wife." Unless he's just getting out of jail, he needs to get on his feet, you have a place. And in that case, that's my wife for now. Until I get on my feet, start working, make my own money, don't need your car, then I think I want to see other people. I want to see other people. It's a cycle. That's how it goes. And then these women just end up single indefinitely, booty calls here and there, but nothing more substantial than that. Because especially nowadays, you have to look at a woman's history. Because if the gap between where her ex is and where you are is too vast, then there's no way she knows how to deal with a man of your caliber. The gap between her ex and you is too large. She wouldn't know the first or second or third thing to do with you, how to handle you, how to talk to you, conflict resolution, or even being or what a partner means. Not being a dependent where you're expecting me to take care of everything and pay for everything, but being a partner where we work together, a symbiotic relationship. Hood chicks don't know that. They just know guys that make fast money, give it to them and go to prison. And then they find another guy that's going to give them money and then he's going to prison. And they just keep finding men that are on the fast track to prison, but might hit a lick and give them a little bit of money and they'll leave them with a lot of bit of kids. So she didn't have that option to begin with.
Toxic back in the day, it wasn't like healthy. It was toxic at that, and I feel like it was just based on trauma bonding.
Yeah, she's misusing the word trauma bonding. But again, it all leads to nothing. It leads to loneliness. It leads to you being older, single, baby mother, and the baby father's nowhere to be found. And if you meet a chick and you really like her and you find out her baby father is gone, you got to wonder why. And that's going to stick in the back of your head. Like, if this bum loser, every name she calls her baby father, if this bum loser, whatever, if he didn't want her and he left her, then what does that say about me? And you have to start looking at yourself internally and be like, shit, maybe I'm too good for this too. The truth of the matter is you very well just might be too good for that situation. And you have to behave like it. But they're going to tell you they like it. They're going to talk to you about these hood dudes. But just remember, those situations lead nowhere, and it's still on her record. You know, would you let a person drive a school bus that has a DUI on their driving record? I wouldn't. Can't drive these kids. I'm sorry. So would you want a woman with those are the kind of men in her past? A checkered history that she's ashamed of? Like, and now we know too much about you. We can look you up online. It just doesn't work. So again, you have to ignore what women are saying that they like, or take them for face value, believe them, and move accordingly around them, because you never, it's, you know, being into men that are toxic, it's addictive. You know, I meet a lot of these women. I don't know why they like me. They think I'm toxic. You know, they think I'm toxic also because they feel like they're in competition, because if they're with me, they're going to meet my other female friends. They think that's toxic, that I don't mind introducing them. I'm not trying to hide them or sneak around them. I'm just out in the open. And the fact that they have to meet other women that I'm dealing with, they think that's toxic too. They think too much transparency is toxic. So if that's the case, I'd rather somebody, you know, break up with me because of what they do know than like me and want to be with me just because of what they don't. So, you know, you got to pick your poison pretty much. So let me know what you think about this topic, if you agree or disagree. I'm gonna read the comments after I close this out. I'll be back on in about 15 minutes. The Single Boyfriend on YouTube. Follow me, follow the channel. I appreciate all your support. I'll see you again shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.